So that's half the amount of knives you need to hit to even damage somebody. And as soon as you use your main event, when it's over, you instantly reload. So you will never have to reload ever the entire match. So this build by itself is completely busted. Imagine a Huntress that just never has to reload ever, or hell, a Trickster that just never has to reload ever. It is definitely... I feel like the devs almost just forgot that that's a combination, even though they couldn't have, because they made specific changes to, like, you know, the soda add-on. So
what Scott Yund is talking about here is the combination of Fistbin Soda and Death Rose compilation on the PTB when Trickster got reworked. Yes, Death Rose compilation was an oversight, and we also pointed that out to behavior before the thing went live. And now I want to show you something else. Because in the very next video, Scott Yund said this in the beginning.
Hey guys, Scott here. B-roll is Zubat because I hate Trickster so much that I don't even have enough B-roll of me playing him to have it in the background.
So this person who was complaining a lot, and I mean a lot, because he hates Trickster, that's fine, not every killer is made for you. But this person hating Trickster so much to not even have footage of himself playing him in an opinion video about Trickster is one of the main reasons, not the only reason, by far not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why so many people still think up to this day the Trickster changes that were happening last year were a buff, not a nerf. And how people didn't realize that a person who doesn't play Trickster enough to have footage for a video would be able to provide a strong opinion on that killer, or how he would be able to provide a strong opinion on the killer, is out of my understanding. Explain to me in the comments, please. However, ladies and gentlemen, we now got a light at the end of the tunnel. We have a design preview for the Trickster changes. Important, these changes are not confirmed yet. It's not confirmed they happen this way or another way, but still they let us in there, which is a good thing on itself. That also says Scott Yund in his news videos, I give him that credit. But if it comes to our opinion about Trickster, Scott and I will probably never be friends. And yes, I did it again. Last time I used Star Wars clickbait, this time I used Scott Yund as clickbait. You're welcome. What do we do? What do we have here? They promise to... or they promise to look into reverting Trickster early next year, early 2025. We are now 11 months into the worst version we ever had of Trickster. And that being said, welcome to this opinion talk. It's not scripted at all. I don't have a script. You can see my screen here. I have nothing prepared like that. I just want to show you what's going on here, what my thoughts are, honestly, not scripted. I spent a day now to actually look into that stuff. I also commented a lot here. Let's see. Trickster mostly gets reverted. Movement speed base back to 4.4 from 4.6. Terror radius from 32 to 24. Laceration from 8 to 6. Time between throws to 0.33 was 0.3. Multiplier for main event from 1.6 to 1.66 was 1.33. This is wrong. Main event requires 30 blades now again, or will be requiring 30 blades now again instead of 8. Reverting main event activation window to 30 was 24. This was, by the way, never in the patch notes. This was a hidden change. Zozo pointed it out. I'll link his videos in the description because Zozo makes really good case studies here. Reinstated per throw modifiers. So, like in my explanation of the power, after 4 and 8 blades you will shoot faster again, hopefully. And they will revert Fistbin Soda and G1 Autograph to what they were in the past. So, basically getting your throw speed up faster. Autograph for 1 blade and Fistbin Soda for 2 blades faster. And then some adjustments. Increasing laceration decay delay to 12 was 10 is a lie. It is 15 at the moment, not 10. And we fought for these 15 seconds in the Band 8 fix last December a lot. So this would actually be a nerf from 15 to 12. And the Fistbin Soda's current effect to Memento Blades. This gives me a little weird tingly feeling, because that would mean that the combo system won't be reverted / removed as it is now, but instead goes to Memento Blades, which would make it a meme add-on again like it was in the past. And there are also some other things not mentioned. I'll come to that in a second. Previous changes to Trickster were contentious, with many Trickster players preferring the previous version. Yeah, you could say that way, yeah. We'd like to explore the possibility of reverting the bulk of tweaks while keeping the quality of life improvements such as removal of recoil. Yeah, okay. So, What do we have here? First of all, we have most of the numbers reverted to what they were in the past, even though some are a lie, because this is now 1.66 at the moment as well, so it wouldn't change. This would be a nerf instead of a buff. Everything else is technically accurate. What they don't mention here is Death Throws compilation and Iridescent Photo Card, for example. Iridescent Photo Card got changed from making people exposed after 5 hits or 4 hits to giving haste while hitting blades. On the photo card, I would be fine on both versions, not gonna lie. I would rather prefer the exposed add-on over the haste add-on, but both are good, so if that stays the same, I don't mind. Death Throws compilation, however, I have a problem with, because Death Throws compilation in the past was, after main event, you reload your knives automatically, you don't need to go to a locker. As main event takes 30 blades to start, which is 2.5 downs, so basically 5 inches or 5 health states basically. This is a drastic change to the add-on, because the new one allows you to see auras during main event, which is terrible. It's not an eerie add-on, this is a brown add-on. You could move the Death Throws compilation to Memento Blades, that you could do, and then give us back the old Death Throws compilation. That would be good. Because that actually would be a brown add-on, not an eerie one. Other than that, this looks mostly cool, especially considering they won't reinvent the recoil. And considering all the other stuff here, this actually is looking really nice. I really like that, yeah. But I want to talk about something else here. So, as mentioned, most of this is good. Some numbers are wrong. Be my guest. They didn't mention the eerie add-ons, which I'm concerned about. They also didn't mention reverting the wires, the Tequila Moonrock, the Lucky Blades, and Waiting for Your Watch. So basically everything they tweaked in the meantime, they don't mention here. So I'm a little bit concerned that this is not all that we will get. But somehow I feel like... So, Behavior, if you see this, I don't know if you watch my videos, because obviously I never got contacted about this. But if you want to work on reverting Trickster and changing him to a better version, you don't need to talk to me, but please talk to Ravium, Watzak, Zozo, any other Trickster main that's really up high in the list, playing him a lot more than I do. Please talk to people that actually know what's good about the killer, who enjoy him. Don't make this a random hit or miss 50-50 coin flip with just some random changes by listening to the broad audience where most people still compare him to Huntress. I'll come to that in a second. So please listen to a few specific people that are actually playing Trickster a lot, not like Scott Yunt, for example. I'm sorry, Scott. It's nothing personal. It's just like a joke after having this happening. I'm sorry. Just listen to somebody who actually spent thousands of hours in this character before and after the rework. Listen to them, talk to them, include them. I mean, I worked in the video game industry in the past. I know how it's going. If you have to make them sign NDAs, do so. I don't care. They probably don't either. They just want to have a killer that's fun again. And that brings me to the part that I want to talk about mostly in this video. Please don't scrap this. Please improve it, maybe even more. Bring back the old combo system. Bring back the old Death Throws compilation at least. Try to consider the other add-ons that are basically overpowered then if these changes come back. So make sure to revert Inferno Wires, Tequila Moonrock. Make sure to not make a meme add-on again out of the Memento Blades, because the current soda effect is still a cosmetic one. It doesn't change anything except looking fancy on your interface. But what I want to talk about is the comments here. People still compare Trickster a lot to Huntress, and I might break now some people's heart, but Trickster and Huntress are two complete different killers. If you don't understand that, you didn't have enough insight into Trickster. Please trust me on that one. Dunning-Kruger is strong on this one, I know, but please trust me on this one. Huntress is going out there to hunt people down. She needs that one hit, one damage mechanic for that purpose. Trickster, with his knife, you don't dodge. You're not intended to dodge them. You are intended to avoid them in the first place. Trickster, with his knives, punishes people that are misplaced, dispositioned, giving away too much room, too much space, trying some other things all around the place. But it's not to chase people down. Please stop assuming they are there to chase people down. It's not the case. Yeah, you can chase people down if they are not good at playing against Trickster, but please stop calling him a worse Huntress. You wouldn't go out there and call Myers a worse Ghostface, or you wouldn't call Pyramid Head a worse Dracula, or you wouldn't call Onryu a worse Dredge just because their power is somewhat similar to each other. You wouldn't do that. So please stop doing it on Trickster and Huntress. It hurts so much to see people not understanding that Trickster is his own character, his own killer. He works different from Huntress. You have a different reason to use blades. And that's also why blades are more interesting on Trickster than on Huntress. Still, the majority of people still quote-unquote plays him like Huntress, keeping the knives out all the time and just spamming them and trying to down people like this. And yeah, the current version allows that. And that's why the current version is so freaking popular on quote-unquote the majority of people that are writing here, because yeah, it's like easier to pick it up, but you don't have a skill ceiling up high. You basically have a skill ceiling right in front of your face. Next comment. Either his main event, how it is now, and revert him to 4.4, or keep it 4.6 in the main event. No. Again, somebody that didn't understand the power. I'm sorry I'm blunt here. I'm sorry I don't want to attack anybody personally, but as somebody who spent thousands of hours playing this killer, myself, and talking to many people that feel the same and experience the same, it's so terrible to see that he's still not seen properly. There are many comments that are going in a similar or same way. I don't understand why he would change Trickster. He doesn't feel too strong or too weak. Yeah, but he doesn't feel fun to play as. Mostly, at least. Many people argue that the 4.6 movement speed quality of life has improved a lot, and people are using M1s more now. And, well, that's true. I agree on that one. I also commented here a few minutes ago. I disagree on that one, because also this person again called it a worse version of Huntress, and I argue against the same that I did right now. That's also why I have the comparisons right now. But the old version was so much stronger because of the way he punishes people. Keep in mind that 6 knives hit compared to 8 knives hit, and the change of throw speed are something that works together so close and clocked into each other that it's difficult to describe it on its own. But you punish people for misplacing themselves. You punish people for not using check spots to see where Trickster's coming from. Zozo mentioned this also really well in his video. If you are somewhat knowledgeable about Trickster, you can run him for a long time without even using pellets or any other resources. Trickster has, in his old and his new version, so many weaknesses that as soon as you start to understand his power properly, you have no problem chasing him or being chased by him. But the old version was stronger because while line of sight breaking was easier for survivors because he couldn't chase up quite easy on 4.4 compared to the current 4.6, the 2 hits less make so much of a difference and make him so much stronger compared to the 8 hits on 4.6. And I honestly am interested in how many people actually don't know how the laceration meter works properly. Because also they changed the decay, and that's also not in the patch notes by the way now. So let me get you to that real quick. They reverted the laceration decay delay to 12 seconds, which was also not really true because it's 15 and it was 15 before, and it was 10 shortly after the rework, and then we got it fixed in the bandit for 15 again. But what they don't mention is the speed of the decay of the laceration meter. Because in the past it was different between you moving slowly and you running fast. If you were running, you lost less laceration meter. If you were walking, you lose more laceration meter. Or if you were standing still, it's the same as walking. So it was actually a difference if you lost Trickster in chase or if you didn't lose him and you basically got punished for not getting rid of him. So at the moment, the laceration starts decaying at 0.5 units per second. Before the nerf, and that was not documented, also shoutouts to Zozo for finding all that stuff out because we didn't know that back then. The nerf was 0.3 while running and 0.4 while standing or crouching or walking, it changed to 0.5 all the times. So you can conclude that in combination with the less laceration decay delay, you lost all your stacks a lot faster, and it was a huge nerf, and nobody considered that. Also, main event was not documented to be changed from the throw rate multiplier, and also throwing speed no longer increased while throwing blades was not documented properly. And also the main event activation window was nerfed from 30 to 24 seconds. Nobody mentioned that anywhere. But hey, we got it. Having all of that happening, this looks really good. I'm sorry this is a super disorganized video. I'm sorry this is a lot of chaos. I will probably cut it in all the most impossible ways ever. But I want to show you one last thing. This is a conversation I had on Reddit with Cosmic Scarab. Shoutouts to you, by the way. If you can see this, unban me, please. Because he was talking about how Trickster has issues on how maps get changed because he can't shoot over as many objects as he could in the past. And I explained, hey, that's not a Trickster issue, that's a map design issue. Hunters and Slinger are suffering from this too. And that's true. Slinger has the same issues as Trickster. And as somebody who plays all 4 ranged killers, Trickster, Slinger, Huntress, Artist, I know that Huntress is also suffering from this. And he writes, main differences, Huntress and Slinger get injured on one hit, whereas Trickster needs multiple, which makes it even worse. It's not too bad right now, but he can still back on his M1. Again, you shouldn't. But if his movement speed is reverted to 4.4, so many of the maps become awful for him. Why are these maps not awful for Spirit? She's also 4.4. I know why exactly, but don't get me wrong, they have a power to compensate for it, and Trickster has as well. Rolling him back to what was before also means like 2 seconds flat to injure in a perfect scenario, not 4.6. With 8 hits, that was 2.42. Yeah, you take half a second longer in a perfect scenario. Meaning you hit all of your knives. You have no objects and no break of line of sight. And then you have to add up to these numbers. 2 seconds and 2.42. So now you don't hit at 100% knives. You are more like 60 to 70% on average. You need to keep in mind that line of sight can be broken, which doesn't matter for Huntress and Slinger as much because they only need 1 hit, but for Trickster it matters. And it also matters a lot more on the 8-hit version right now than on the 6-blade version because you need to hit 2 additional blades. So at the moment, as I wrote here, he's so much weaker, and the additional strength requires him to have 4.4 to keep it fair to survivors. Not necessarily, but it's a nice to have. If you want to keep it going on 4.6, yeah, it's an argument. You can talk about this. Unknown is also 4.6 and has a multiple hit power similar to Trickster. Yeah, I can see Trickster 4.6 with all the old buffs and 6 hits per laceration meter. I can see that. And then he wrote this message, but the thing is, I didn't see this message in a normal way anymore because he bumped me. You also have to consider the nerf that his main event is going from every injury to once every 5 injuries. I don't think he was stronger back then. More fun, sure, I can see why people enjoyed him more, but I really do not feel he was stronger if he gets reverted to that state. He needs some sort of compensation, so he isn't awful. The problem is, I didn't see this message in the beginning anymore. However, I saw a Reddit notification that I got a message. So I looked it up, and this is all I was able to see. I couldn't see the messages from Cosmic Scarab anymore because he banned me. And considering you need to go to your profile, privacy settings, and entering the name manually to ban a person, this was not a coincidental click on a button that he shouldn't have clicked. He banned me on purpose and then wrote the message. People don't want to have a logical discussion. On the other hand, I had a really amazing discussion with no escape button. Shoutouts to you, you are an amazing person. We discussed a little bit about main event and how he thinks the old one is boring because it's not that often, and how I prefer it because it's more rare and it has bigger value and you need to hit your timing properly and whatnot. And we came to agree to disagree in a polite and kind manner. And that's something I didn't see a lot of times in Reddit. So a bad and a good example, because Both is in this community obviously. Many of these comments show that they didn't really bother about learning to play as or against Trickster, Many comments are like, yeah, this looks great, but please keep in 4.6. And again, I could see that. But other than that, addressing the add-ons that were not mentioned yet. But other than that, it's good, I guess. So please behavior, if you want to rework Trickster, please talk to somebody who has a lot of hours and playtime on him. Like Watzak, Revium, Little God maybe, NJ, or even myself, I don't know. I don't have as much time as these people have, but maybe you could consider it, I don't know. I'm somewhere here, yep, 87 right now. And yes, of course, there are many more Trickster mains that are better than I am. And the only thing that might be speaking for me is that I have experience in the video game industry. I was working for 6 years in the video game industry, but I also love this character, and I know that many of my views align with Watzak, Revium, Zozo, and so many others. So please, talk to somebody who is actually aware of what's going on with Trickster, who understands what's fun and not fun. Don't do this on a blind flight. Talk to the people who actually understand the power, who know what's possible and impossible on him. And I'm sure you will do great. After 1 year of not communicating, after 1 year of letting us cry out and cry out and cry out over and over and over and over again, and many people considering stop playing the game at all, please consider listening to us now. Thanks for watching, have a good rest of the day, and I will try to butcher this video now in the video editing software. Until next time.